Hello everyone, my name is Sukhjinder Singh. I hope you all are doing well. I'm here today to share the solution for the board games challenge number 2. First of all, thank you very much Automation Anywhere for taking this initiative and creating this platform called Board Games where the entire community comes together and share knowledge. So thank you very much for that. Uh, so quickly we'll start with the solution that has been implemented by me for this particular use case. So this is the landing page of the use case that we have. The first part is just explaining the basic gist of the use case. I'm sure each one of you must have seen the video which explains the use case, but I will just do a small recap of the requirement. The requirement is to first open this page and then click on this button and log in using the credentials given over here, the user ID and password. So what I'm doing before I start coding, I'm saving the user ID and the password in the credential variables. And once you click on this page, it opens up another page, which is this is how it looks like. And we are required to enter the user ID password in this. Close this. So this wonderful window comes up, and then one by one for each of the transactions over here. So there are 12 transactions on this page. So it doesn't matter how many times you refresh the page, it is always 12. Uh, so the number of transaction is fixed over here. What if it is not fixed? But that's not the requirement. The requirement is there are 12 transactions and it is fixed there. So for each of the transaction, you have to go on this page, use this information, and update the status. So ideally, for the given account, you have to search for this amount. If you find the amount, you will go ahead and select the status as verified. And if you don't find the amount, you will mark it as unverified. So that's the requirement. Now, if you look at this carefully, the title of this page is Automation Anywhere Labs Quarter Close Challenge. The title of this page is yeah, this is the title of this particular page. Now, all the accounts are available on this left hand side, and these are all kind of hyperlinks. Now, what happens when you click on that? So 3842 savings 3842. So I'll go on this page, click on savings 3842, and it will open up this particular page. And this is the text box where I need to enter the amount which is available here. So I'll go ahead, copy this, and I will put it over here. And there's no button to say submit or search, so I'll press enter and I get this particular record. So the requirement says if I find a record, I should simply go here and select verify. Now just notice one thing, you should always notice such things when you are automating uh, web pages or any window which is opening with a title. So the title over here changes depending on the account that you've clicked on. Now if I click on checking 2147, you please note that the title includes AACCT, that is short form for account, and the number 2147. So the Windows title is dynamic. Now, this is a very critical information that you should identify before you develop, because Automation Anywhere will identify a window based on the title. All right. So this is how it is, and you have to do this activity. You know, click on the account number, search the value, and if you find it verified, not find it unverified for all the 12 accounts. Now, what are we going to do for that? So it's a very regular capture situation where you have to go and capture values here, and there is a conditional capture involved where you will capture 3842 if this value is 3842. So what are you going to do? That's the question. So there are 12 transactions which are fixed. Are you going to do 12 different set of captures and repeat the steps of searching? Definitely not. You will not do that. We'll be using loop. And how are we going to use a loop? Through this page, So the first time when the bot comes, it picks up this account number, this amount, and then searches the value here, comes back here, and updates the status for the first transaction. The second time, it updates the status and do all the activity for the second transaction, and so on and so forth till I reach the 12th transaction. Now, how will I do that? How will I, at the runtime, identify the control dynamically? That is a big question, and that is the biggest catch of this use case. Now, every control has a set of properties which gets generated when you do a capture, if you must have noticed. And one of the property is the DOMX path. The DOMX path is one of the key identifiers of a given control in a web page. Now, you have to just play with that a little in order to achieve this particular task. What do I mean now? If I go ahead and um, so I've done this test captures. If you can just look at this, just a moment. I'll go this side now. You can see here. This is the first one. This is the second one, third one, fourth one. So I've done multiple captures for each one of the controls. This one. So I've captured the first one, then I captured the second one, then I captured the third one, then I captured the fourth one to understand where the property is changing. Just a minute, guys. Yeah. Now, if you look at this carefully, it's very evident that this element identifier, the number here changes from 1, 2 for the second, third, fourth, and it keeps on changing as you can see here. So and I've just done some basic captures to identify which part of the domics path, which is this thing, is changing. So this the second div element which is appearing here, the index number here is changing for this particular control. So that's the identifier. So what I have to do is I have to simply create a counter variable, loop through or do the loop activity till the counter variable is less than 12, and instead of this number which is appearing, I have to replace it with the counter variable itself. That is the basic logic of achieving this particular task. And the second thing which I mentioned, a very important thing, which was related to the Windows title. So the Windows title here is changing. So what you will do for any capture that you're doing on this window, when you're capturing the window, the title of the window, you should include a wildcard. So if you notice, this part is always constant. It's the same. What is changing is this one. After the hyphen, it changes. So you can put a wildcard when you're doing a capture for that Windows title after the hyphen, and that will serve the purpose. That will get you there. So that's the basic discussion. So I'll just show you the code. This is my code. So again, it is also always a good practice to first plan, understand, create the steps. Even Michael Smith recommends that you should first create the steps and then populate them with actions that are required to achieve the task. So my first step is obviously to open the URL and log in. So I'm using the browser open command to open, and then I'm logging in. So as I mentioned that I've already saved the variables, the user ID and password in the credential variable. So I'm just passing them here. You can see that. Now, once I've done that, I will log in, and then I will start processing the records. Now, as I mentioned, I'll be using a loop. So I'm initializing the counter variable to the value 1, and till it is less than equal to 12, I will start doing the activity that is required. So first I will initialize the variable. So what I need is the amount and the account. So this one I'm storing the amount, and this one I'm storing the account. Now you can see here the domex path is the second div element, I'm replacing number with the counter variable. Obviously, this is a string. This will only take string type of data, so you have to convert your number variable to string and position it right there. And that's all you need to do in this case in order to capture. So the first time when it comes, first time when the bot is coming to this page, it will capture this one. Second time it will go down, it will capture this one. Third time, so on and so forth. So that's how it works. Okay. So say for the first transaction, I have captured the value. Once I capture the amount in the account, I have to start the verification. So the first step is to click on the right account, which appears on the next tab, and that is a conditional capture. So we have only four accounts. So I've given the conditions here. So if the account variable is having this particular value, then I will click on that particular account. And that's the thing over here. So I'm just clicking on that. And also just one more thing, which I just forgot to mention here. When you capture the values or this control, it is also having a HTML ID. So generally you should uncheck the HTML ID in order to ensure there's no ambiguity at the runtime for the bot to identify a particular control. All right. So based on the particular value in the account number, I'm selecting the account. So this entire if else is related to selecting the account. Um, Once I click on the account, I will then enter the amount and start searching for it. Now, this is the particular part where I'm clicking on the particular hyperlink, this one. And once I click on it, once you have performed the click action, you will uh, get the window or the information is refreshed for that given account, and that's the time when the title changes. So you have to handle that accordingly. Now, if you can see, I'm using a wildcard over here, and that's what I'm doing. I'm entering the amount in the given text box. After entering the amount, I'm pressing the enter key, and then I'm capturing the text which is appearing in the table. So which table I'm talking about? I'm talking about this one. So say, let's take an example. The bot will take this amount, it will go here, it will put it here, and then it will press enter. It will capture the value of the table. So it will capture two rows. So please note one more thing that I'll just take one example if I can able to find it. Yeah, no matter whether the result is there or not there, it will always produce two rows. And the second row will always have this value if the result is not found. So that's what I'm using for my uh, solution. So what I'm doing is after pressing enter, I'm capturing the value of the second row. So I know once I press enter, it will always have two rows. The second row will have no results match your search query if the result is not found. So I'm giving the row index as 2, and if you notice, it is only one cell. Yeah, so that's the first cell of the second row. So I'm capturing that value. After capturing that, I'm using the if condition. If the I'm storing it in a variable, if that is equal to no results match your search query, which means the transaction that I'm looking for is not there. So I will simply go ahead and perform the capture. Again, here also, the capture is based on the counter variable. All right, so I was just saying that based on the value of the given cell, that is row number two, cell number one, uh, if it is no results match your search query, it will go and perform the capture on the previous tab and select the status as unverified. Otherwise, it will select the status as verified. Now, that's about it. And here also, I'm using the counter variable uh, in the domex path. So these are the steps involved. Once I'm done with my basic steps, I will increment the counter by one. So that moves on the next. Once everything is done, it does it for all the transaction. I will click on the submit button. That's the thing. All right, so let's run this bot and see how it performs. Keep myself here. Okay. All right, so this is, you can see it is successful. So what do you think about this tutorial video? Please put in your comments. Was this useful for you? Uh, Whether you like it or not, give it a like and definitely subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. This is the part where the basic solution ends. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, uh, what about a scenario where the number of transactions are not fixed, and what will you do if this 12 becomes 10 and 10 becomes 5? What will you do? In that case, solution is very simple, which I have applied. So basically what I'll do is I'll do a dynamic capture of this section, because this part represents one transaction. And so I've made another bot which does that. So everything else stays the same. I'm introducing a variable called TCTR, which is basically transaction counter, which counts the number of transactions, and tpath CTR. So basically, the counter which will be used in the domex path to capture the transaction box dynamically. Uh, what I'm doing here is I'm opening the page here. I'm keeping a TCTR flag, so transaction counter flag. So I'm keeping it to zero. So it will stay as zero as long as I'm able to find the transaction box, the box which is having the transaction. The moment I don't find that box, I will make it one and the loop will end. Now, generally, when you are performing captures, if the bot is able to find the given control, it works fine. If the moment it doesn't find it for any reason, it will give a runtime error. So that's what I'm doing. I'm handling it via try and catch. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a capture here. Here's a sample capture which I've done. So this is a capture for this table, or this box rather, sorry, this box, and I am dynamically, this is the element which changes, so I'm dynamically changing this part of the domex path in this code, and the t path, transaction path counter is 1, so it will put 1 here for the first time, and then as it increments it will put the value there, and the transaction counter is initialized to 0. When it gets the first transaction it will become 1, and then so on and so forth, it will keep incrementing, and finally when the box is not there it will throw an error. The flag will become 1, it will go here, and the loop will end. This message box is just there to show you the total number of transactions that it counts. The TCTR, as you can see, the number variable. I'm converting it to string, obviously. And when we run this, it will show you 12 transactions, and then it will perform the other part. Here, the condition changes. So there was a number given in the previous solution as 12. I'm passing the TCTR, that is a transaction counter variable, as uh, the parameter over here. So this addition of logic which I've done, obviously there might be maybe 10 or 1,000 other ways to do it, but this is what I find the best way, the simplest way to implement this solution, where if there are more transactions, whether it is 10 transactions, 12 transactions, doesn't matter. This bot will pick up those number of transactions and perform that task for that many times, and then submit the data. So I will just run this as well for you. Of course, the time taken will increase in this situation. Let's see. Here we go. It shows 12 accurately. And once I close this, it will start the regular process. All right. So this brings to the end of this conversation that we have in this video. Thank you so much for watching. And please do leave a comment and express yourself. Was this video useful, helpful? Did you like it? Or maybe what are the other ways that you can achieve this particular task? Leave a comment, leave a like. leave a like there on this video, and please subscribe to my channel. Well, thank you very much, and bye bye. Take care.